Here we go.
So we're talking about the Rekieta plea deal. So
wow.
we're now at, I think, the second time. It might be the third time, actually, that there's been a plea hearing scheduled for Rekieta. Back in November, there was one. Then I think it was pushed to the first week or second week of December.
Okay.
And then there was the one 2 days ago. And every single time a new settlement hearing is scheduled, they seem to be unable to make a deal. Nobody really knows what's going on. But Aaron M. Holte, let's all take this with a big grain of salt, everyone.
I believe him.
You know what? I choose to believe it because it's funny as
Real.
okay? Like, for real, it's probably real. Yeah, not even Rekieta really knows what's going on. But Aaron M. Holte has apparently received the details of Nick Rekieta's plea deal, and he broadcast them on his stream, which I'm not really sure is like a very smart legal strategy from Aaron, considering he's still in court for revenge porn with these people, and God knows what other crazy shit is going to come out with Rekieta hacking him and all
Kino,
this stuff
though.
or whatever. But you know what? I love it when these people ruin their lives for our entertainment.
It's amazing.
I'm not on Team Aaron. I'm certainly not on Team Baldo. Let them fight. Apparently, what Rekieta did was he started telling everybody in his circle of capos what his plea deal was. He's very loose-lipped. And apparently, one of his capos leaked this straight to Aaron M. Holte. It makes sense. It's not that fantastical. Now, Rekieta is claiming that this was a gay op, and he was merely pretending to make everybody think he was retarded. However, I tend to side with that he actually is retarded. I apologize in advance for Aaron M. Holte's shitty presentation of these details.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's remember it is Aaron M. Holte. We can't really expect too much. So here we have jubilant Steel Toe.
You know, he should be.
Steel
Bring it
Toe
up.
has rung up another dub. He's just like so excited, so jubilant to bring us this news of yet another Baldo Feltoning.
Had his, what do you call it, second settlement conference today. Now, hey, look. Before I get into it, you're not going to hear me make fun of the guy for having a settlement conference in and of itself. Lord knows.
Because you're having one yourself.
Listen, I can't. But
I will be making fun of both of you for your settlement conferences there, Spurgs. Oh, man. This is Anthony Cumia-esque. This is some high-level stuff, folks.
Anthony Cumia.
I got my own problems. But he had a settlement conference today, and this morning, someone decided to DM me.
Whoa.
And just start telling me all of this insider information.
They spilled the
Apparently,
beans.
Nick just likes DMing with strangers on the internet, and I kind of felt bad.
Which fits for him, by the way.
Well, yeah, he needs to get his narcissistic supply somehow now that he's not live streaming anymore, and April has been separated from him, and his wife and children hate him, and everybody shits on him. He needs to spill his guts to random strangers on the internet to feel like an important and powerful person.
Exactly.
That's the Rekieta way.
Exactly.
When I was hearing this stuff, because this is just a guy that's apparently talked to Nick a few times. They're not like close friends or anything like that. Nick just so badly needs people to talk to that he vents to strangers online. This is really, really weird. And this guy sent me a bunch of stuff and said, I thought you would be interested in this. Some of it I can talk about on the show. Some of it I can't.
Why?
Just leak the
fucking
DM.
drip
Fine,
feeding
this
bullshit.
drip feeding nonsense.
He needs another
Dude,
episode.
I have this secret info, dude. This hidden info, duder. Just any day now. Just 2 more weeks. Trust the plan. Baldo's going to prison. Trust the plan, bros.
Shit.
We'll get to, we're going to set it up with the news from today, and then we'll get to the gossip that does include our former co-host and my
Johnny?
Like, can he present this in any more of a boring, low-energy way?
No.
Like, please, please, buddy,
Please.
it's time to go take some more broadcasting classes or something.
April.
Oh, man.
Okay, April.
His wife, the lovely and talented April Anderson,
Oh my
who,
god.
by the way, 3 more days turns
cringe.
30 years old. April, 30 years old
Wait,
in 3 days.
she's not already 30?
She looks at least 36, bro.
Doesn't look a day over 26, by God. Nick had his settlement conference today, and it seems as though it's looking like a guilty plea. There is a plea hearing scheduled for January 25th.
Oh my god.
It just will never, ever end.
Just end. I don't even care anymore. This arc is ending with not even a sneeze.
Well, let's hope the body cam comes out. Now, I originally said that the body cam would come out either way. I was talking with Josh, and Josh explained it to me like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I explained it like that on that video. But apparently, it's not like that. I don't know if anybody actually knows what they're talking about, or if we're all just talking out of our ass or whatever. But apparently, if he's guilty, then the body cam won't come out because it won't have ever been entered into evidence. But I've had it explained to me differently, where it will come out if he does plead guilty.
Wait, so he paid for nothing?
That's the thing. Like, he may have just paid all these thousands of dollars for nothing, and he won't get shit. That's what people are saying now.
What a scam.
So, I don't know. I heard from him directly that no matter what, the body cam footage was going to come out. So that's why I've been saying that. But I don't know for sure now. I honestly have no idea, because people actually read the law and said that that's not the case.
And I believe the plea hearing will be a confirmation of the deal they came to today. Now, people have been theorizing for a long time now what took him so long, what took Nick so long to plead guilty. I did get some insight into that today from this inside source who will remain nameless. I feel like such an intrepid journalist. But in reality,
It's like we're watching a series that has 12 episodes. We're on episode 10, and I'm like, I don't even care what happens.
We're in like the filler finale arc. Like,
I don't even care what
they had
happens.
to stretch it out. It's like, listen, let's just see the ending of Game of Thrones. Like, this shit jumped the shark a couple seasons ago, and we're all just waiting for like the really unsatisfying ending where Baldo gets probation and probably never streams again.
Right, yeah, like
this shit all fell into my lap. So here's what I know. What I know is from this. Here's what I know from this source. What I know from this source is
Steel Toe a poor man's DSP. Well, he certainly stole Phil's haircut.
there is no confirmation.
Aaron's taking some shots today.
Of which charges are sticking and which charges are staying. What he's pleading guilty to and what they're taking off.
He has no idea what charges he's going to plead to, so we don't know, according to Steel Toe, whether or not the child neglect charge will be dropped. That is still up in the air if this leak is legitimate, which I kind of believe it, but it's, you got to, take it with a grain of salt there, because it's Steel Toe.
Come on.
Off the table, that information I do not have. But I do have information that it's looking like 2 to 3 years without drugs or alcohol. Now,
buddy,
that's funny.
That's like a death sentence for Rekieta, bro. 3 years, no drugs or alcohol? He's not making it.
No.
He's going to fail the drug test or the alcohol test, bro. There's no way.
2 to 3 years without drugs or alcohol for someone who is addicted is... I was talking to a recovering alcoholic today, and they said, are they getting help? Are they acknowledging
need to talk to a recovering alcoholic to know this? You know what I mean? Like, okay.
That they have an addiction? Like, no, quite the opposite. And they're like, they're not going to make it 2 or 3 years. People on probation for that long with that level of problem who don't address it, it just doesn't work. You got to change.
Well, he doesn't think he's an alcoholic.
You're going to fail.
Yeah.
Because not only are you addicted to that substance, but you now also have the added stayed prison sentence or stayed jail sentence attached to you not using these things. So now there's the added pressure of, if I touch this, I everything. People think that that's a deterrent. I think that's more like staring at the left side of the road going, don't go left into the ditch, don't go left into the ditch, and then your mind just kind of steers.
You have to think about how miserable Baldo's life is going to be after all of this.
Yeah.
He's going to be completely humiliated. He's having to submit to the state entirely, having to submit to drug testing for years. Everybody's making fun of him. Nobody has any respect for him. He just gets shit on the daily. He's clearly estranged from Kayla. It's probably been years of it being a dead marriage. Now it's like totally dead. They probably hate each other to a certain degree.
Towards the ditch, but everybody's different. So this inside source that's spoken to Nick Rekieta told me, they said, it's like the way, like, people take such glee in knowing this shit sometimes. Like, do you want to know what he proposed to the prosecutors? And I'm like, oh boy.
We want to know. And, like, it's really funny.
Of course we have glee. We want to see him.
There's a lot of glee. Suffer, Rekieta. Suffer, bitch.
It's like, I don't feel bad for Nick because it's like, stop spewing all this personal, private shit to strangers.
Why would you feel bad for him in the first place ever, even if he did?
Like, this is just him virtue signaling that he's a great person and he's redeemed and he has no hate in his heart and he's about love and all
We're
that.
All about love
all that
here.
lame fucking shit that he does. Yeah.
Like, it's like when people are like, you and Ashton don't even care about Nick. It's like, yeah, I know.
Obviously not.
No shit. We find it funny what's happening.
You're
like, no, sorry.
It's a false moral compass. If he really had a moral compass and felt bad about it, Burner 9, he wouldn't come on and shit talk Rekieta.
Yeah.
He would move on with his life if he really felt that way. It's obviously fake as and he obviously hates the motherfucker for stealing his wife and tucking him and felting him 6 ways to Sunday. Like, obviously.
So he goes and he pitches the idea. I want to read this so I have it right.
Okay.
I want to read it right from the horse's mouth here. Now, Nick says, hey, not doing drugs or not doing or not drinking for a few years is easy. You just don't do it. I don't have a problem. I don't have an addiction to alcohol. Now, I watched the guy personally for 5 months. He has a problem. He has a drinking problem.
Oh, you don't say. All of us saw it too. All of us saw it too there, Aaron.
No shit with Aaron from Steel
Wow,
Toy.
the Sky is report with Mr. M. Holte.
Wow, we're really getting the inside dirt. You know, no one had a clue.
Opinion, observing his behavior, he's an alcoholic. He's addicted to it. He can think what he wants. I've had friends who are alcoholics. He behaves exactly like an alcoholic.
Well, yeah, you're sponsored by Stoney's, so I'm assuming.
You know, got to Stoney's Bar for the $2 Halloween cans. Like,
if you're not an alcoholic, the 2 to 3 years of probation should be all right. Well, look, you know, them's the breaks. That sucks, but I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. I'll take my lumps like a man. Apparently, Nick confused. Now, this is how it typically works.
This is so insane.
The state will offer you a deal.
He really should have just led with it. Like, this, 5 minute, let's get to it. Let's get to the good shit here.
Well, you know, he has to stretch out that time. You know?
And there will be a first deal that won't be that great.
Okay.
And then as the process goes forward, they'll offer you a second deal, and that'll kind of be the final, like, look, we don't want to go to trial. It's time and energy and preparation. We got a lot of cases. Take this deal. Here's the, pieces of it.
Please,
we'll
Aaron.
call this thing good.
Yes, okay.
Nick seemed to think that they were horse trading. And Nick brought forth...
Yeah, like he's bartering. He's on the Oregon Trail,
Worth an idea to prosecutors. Again, from my source who claims to have direct contact with Nick.
Yeah.
He said, quote, he tried offering to the state that he be a counselor, school visitor, and YouTube personality talking about the harms of taking drugs.
Okay.
Buddy, Steel Toe has a better chance of being a local celebrity in Minnesota drug counselor. He's more famous there than you are somehow.
as far as being a school visitor, they don't want a guy who got caught with an ounce of cocaine with his.
You know what I mean? Like recently.
The parents are
been
gonna
10
look
years.
it up and see Rekieta's hot takes and be like, we're not allowing our kids around this degenerate.
Kids in the house who's on probation for that crime, going to schools and talking to children. They certainly don't need you to be a counselor. Just because you've done the shit doesn't mean you're qualified to be a counselor. So he offered this to the prosecutor, this person. Why? Why did he offer it to them? He said he tried offering that to take the no booze for 2 to 3 years off the
That's
table.
insane.
So Nick doesn't have a problem with alcohol. He's not an alcoholic, but he said, I'll change my entire YouTube personality to be the anti-drug guy. Nick says, I'm going to be the anti-drug guy on YouTube.
So I could drink.
YouTube. You watch Nick Rekieta on YouTube. It's going to be a no doing drugs show. Drugs are bad, okay? I'm going to be the Mr. Mackey of YouTube and Rumble because I really, really need to drink. Now, why would they want you to go to schools and be online telling people not to abuse substances when the only reason you're doing it is so you can suck down a bottle of whiskey? I mean, when I heard that,
heckling him,
You
they
suck.
start chanting "Baldo." They
just
start
like,
calling him a cock.
people are like, do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? It's too retarded for somebody to just make up. It's just really too dumb
I want
for someone
it's
to
real. I want to believe,
I'm
bro.
gonna shit myself, dude.
just make up. So he offered to change his entire YouTube personality. And hey, guy, he thought he had, with Nick, it's all about these magic bullets. I've got this magic bullet that's going to get me out of all this shit. It was the Franks hearing, and then it was the interlocutory appeal, and it was this, and it was that. It was all this other stuff. No, I know how I can, and again, none of this stuff is, I know how I can help people. I know how I can, steer people clear of drugs and everything else. His whole thing was, I know how I can drink. I know how I can get access to alcohol. I'll offer this. I'll go to schools. I'll be a counselor. I'll change my whole YouTube gimmick from the last time you
plausible. It's not even kind of like realistic.
saw me. I was to now the hey kids, take it from me.
No, I'm just saying it's like, what, like, has there ever been a successful drug counseling YouTube channel where there's somebody who's like, drugs are bad, okay? Shouldn't do drugs, kids. Let me break down what it does to you, children.
To be
Like,
fair,
this doesn't exist.
No, that's actually not true. I do watch anti-alcohol videos and people talking about like their experiences. I do watch that shit. Keeps me focused, and it's a big community actually. It actually is. It actually is a really
Maybe
big.
this
And I
is
watch
the
the videos.
Rekieta
I love them.
redemption arc.
No. Look, take a shot. I mean, I'd be insulted if I were the state of Minnesota to think that would work. So that apparently got nixed. That idea they did not think was a good one. Outside of that, my inside source has very little knowledge of what the deal could be other than kind of the time frame of probation, and that the probation is going to include both drugs and alcohol. That's what he knows.
But
and that
anybody
offer
could tell you that that's the most likely outcome.
was made. And then somebody else told me that when Nick was negotiating with Rumble, he straight-faced told them, you should put me on your board of directors because I've got some great
That's
Come on.
insane.
No, Nick.
You got to give the guy credit. I mean, it's gall. It really is gall. So then he sent me some things about kind of the more personal end of this. And the more personal end of this looks like this. And I'm going to be careful here because there's things I can say and there's things I can't say.
Just say it
Just
all.
say it.
I'll try to read these. Talking about April. Apparently, someone gave Nick an ultimatum that said you can live the good Christian trad life or you can have your blonde whore.
So, Kayla.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just basic reality that he has to make that choice.
Right?
He either needs to choose his family and his wife, or he needs to choose April.
It's not a
There's
hard
no way
thing to
it's going to exist long-term going forward.
Maybe his parents? His dad, maybe?
Probably his dad.
And
why can't you say that?
I think that's what makes sense, is what his dad came to him and said, son, the trust fund payments are going to stop.
True.
I'm going to stop all your trust fund payments. They're going to be deferred and given to the kids unless you figure this out. Like, you have to make a choice here.
Yeah, true.
And he had to be put to a choice.
Yeah, people are saying in chat, he can't talk about Kayla because of the revenge porn case.
Oh, true.
Which makes sense.
And he could have chosen April. If he wanted her, he could have had her. He said no. He denied her. He rejected her. Said no, thank you. So April has been denied. That's all got to go. That's all got to be finished, because someone somewhere, whether it was a relative, friend, whatever, laid down the law and said it's either this.
He's just terrible as a presenter, isn't he?
Try hold on, bro.
It's brutal. There's only a few minutes left.
Yeah, no, I know.
I could have summarized it all and just did but I'm like, okay,
listen,
let's give Steel Toe his day.
Now, my source also says, with all of this situation, he's never held
deep throat, like
any of the cards other people have. I know she's your ex-wife, but I make no apologies. April, that silly didn't realize how much power she had. And then he said in a couple of sentences later,
calling Aaron an entertainment vacuum.
Well, that's the thing that's gonna end up happening is April held the keys to sign the consent form to get the body cam footage released. She held the key snake on Nick in court and just totally destroy any chance of a plea deal or winning the case. She had a lot of options. She had a lot of power in the situation.
The man is broken. He says, I'm not going to share specifics, but I'll say he sounds like a lovesick teenager. It's fucking sad to see. This isn't what he wants to do, but he wasn't given much of a choice. Just in time. Well, I mean, it's not really what I'm worried about. And then I asked the person, I said, so he actually wants April. And my source says it's not just April. He wants whatever he wants. That was very interesting. So Nick was put to a decision by people. And it was, you gotta go with the whore or you gotta cut her loose. You gotta go with the side piece or you gotta cut her loose. And he told her, hit the bricks. That was apparently the choice. And his choice was, she gotta go. And then he gets into the trying to offer to be a counselor, school visitor, and YouTube personality, talking about the harms of taking drugs. And he offered that so that they would let him drink while he was on probation. I believe that one because that lines up with the Nick I know. Nick has this idea that he's starting off on a higher intellectual plane than the other people who are laughing at him because, he thinks because he can't see their intellect, he must be on a higher plane. They're just up so much higher than him. He literally thought, he's like, well, I want to drink. So if I want to drink, I'll just offer them something. And because I'm offering them anything, they'll just give me what I want. They'll just give me my way because I'm offering something. And then if they say no, he chimps out and he goes, they're being unfair. I offered and they're just too stupid. And that was that comment he made not long ago where he's like, I just have to make the prosecution see and understand that it's just a waste of their time to... You can't be the guy who makes a YouTube personality about not taking drugs and talking to kids at schools when the whole reason you made the deal was so you could abuse substances. Like alcohol is a substance.
Okay, what did I miss?
So that was wild to hear.
I was bursting there.
And then to hear that Nick kind of got tarred wrangled, theory a lot of people had. So that actually makes me feel not bad for April because she made her bed. But now she's twisting in the wind. Now what the f*** is she going to do? Because, like, that house is sold. She's out. She's done.
Be a prostitute. Like, it's over.
I don't know what you do from there. Hey, you know what the best part is? Not my pig, not my farm. Let's catch up with the...
That's funny.
There you go. Steel toe nailed it.